to the channel. Sunderland defeat Oxford 1-0 in the FA Cup 4th round. Get your comments in, get your thoughts after the game. I have made some notes myself of things to talk about, and we'll start talking about the lineup. And I will get your comments as we go on. Please also like the channel, the video, not the channel. Well, like the channel as well, but like the video. That always helps. But the lineup, we talked about this in the pre-game show, but if you didn't see that, reasonably happy with it. It was pretty strong. No Ballard, no Ronaldo. We knew about Alderete, but no Alderete as well. So are they nursing problems, or is there something more serious? We may hear, from... I'll move my microphone. There we are. Just being... But we may hear from Regis after the game. Obviously, at this point, I've not heard from them yet, but maybe he can clarify what that is, whether or not it was injury-related, whether or not it was, just resting, just didn't want them to travel. We'll see. But hopefully next week, with the Fulham game, we could be pretty much full-ish strength. You look at Xhaka could be back for that Fulham game. Hopefully, that was kind of the point they were talking about maybe after the FA Cup game. So, yeah, hopefully Xhaka will be back. Ballard hopefully back in the team. And now, we'll talk about the players that played today, but some of them, I think, had decent-ish games, and we can maybe see them into the team. But the other thing I must say, did anyone watch the TNT commentary? Because that was two of the worst commentators I've ever heard. Aaron McLean, and I don't know who the main one was, but they were absolutely dreadful. Hopeless commentary. Anyway, first half. I felt like the first half, to be honest, of the two, Sunderland were not great, I don't think, in the first half. I thought we were much better in the second half, even though we did technically win the first half 1-0. But I thought Sunderland were quite sluggish. I thought it was quite a cagey game to start. Neither team really did anything. And I felt like we were maybe playing not at 100%. It felt like we were just off the pace a little bit, maybe trying to feel our way into the game. And it felt like Oxford were kind of the same. I didn't think they had much quality at all, to be honest. Oxford, they were really, really poor. I felt like we were kind of at 90%. The penalty, which was a penalty, I don't understand the thought. The Oxford, honestly, you were thinking the way that the Oxford players and the manager was going on, that penalty decision was like the biggest aberration ever in football. It absolutely was a penalty. It was a stupid tackle from their guy. Serkin obviously wins it, and Diarra, just tucks it in nicely. We go 1-0 up, and from that point, look, and I've got to be totally honest, I never ever thought Oxford were going to score a goal. And I thought we managed the rest of the game pretty effectively. I was trying to think, Oxford had one chance before half-time, but other than that, I didn't think Oxford had anything in the game in terms of chances, and we defended pretty well, pretty easy. I thought Lancashire was a bit of a handful for them up front. But again, constantly looking for fouls, and he was fouling, our players more so than we were fouling their players. And and I thought as well, Oxford were really trying to get into the referee's head and get in our head. I think Oxford were very, they're trying to bring down the level of the game. I thought that they were constantly, the way they were going on with the officials, just that everything we did was a foul and everything that they did wasn't, and that clearly wasn't the case. I think they got a couple of our players booked. There was talk about a red card on half-time on Lafay, for Lafay. It was just absolutely was not a red card. And the commentators were even like, oh, it could be a red. It's like, well, it's not a red. And yeah, I just thought Oxford kind of were trying to drag us down to their level. And I think at times, to be honest, we sort of fell for it, hook, line and sinker. There was a couple of silly yellow cards from our perspective, which maybe we shouldn't have got. But yeah, I was quite, just thought that Oxford were doing their best to just do the shithousery and weren't really focused that much on the game at times. And the fans were lapping it up as well, thinking that there was some sort of bias 1-0 to the referee and all that. Very, very strange. Second half, though, I thought Oxford started well first sort of 10 minutes, as you would expect. And then after about the 55th minute, Sunderland were just utterly dominant. We had like a string of chances sort of between the 55th and 65th minute. One of them should probably go in. Mundell had one. Talby, Hume, Mayenda, they all had decent ones. And then we brought on some substitutes. I thought Jocelyn Tarby, and look, I can see in the comments a lot of people feeling the same thing. I thought he looked excellent. He had one good effort towards the end of the game, which he probably should do better, to be fair. But I thought he was brilliant, to be honest. And he was running and he was direct. And I look at him and I look at Angulo, who obviously we brought in, and both of them just seem much more direct with their running, which is exactly what we need. And considering it was, what, 2.5 million, something like that we paid for Tarby, you have to look at that and think it looks, we've only seen him for 20 minutes, but he looks like decent business. He looked like a threat, and he was running very direct. I was really, really impressed with him. I thought he was very, very good. Mayenda had a chance just as he came on. I thought Mayenda was far better than Isidore. In fact, I can see comments in here. I didn't think Isidore did much, and considering he's playing for his place in the team, I thought he didn't do necessarily enough. I mean, I will say in Isidore's defence, that pitch and the fact that Mayenda came on against a tired defence and Isidore was playing against a defence that obviously had more energy. I thought Mayenda did look more effective though. He was running the channels more. And he did look like more of a threat than Isidore did. There was also the most ridiculous challenge on Eliza Mayenda where he got kicked in the stomach. Must have been about the 85th minute. And the referee just waved it away, and he's right in front of him. I mean, it was one of the worst decisions. I mean, not one of the worst you'll see this weekend, because we've seen some absolutely awful ones. I mean, I'm not wanting to defend the visitors, but Christ, they got a few against them yesterday. This was in that realm of just an absolutely ridiculous refereeing decision not given against Mayenda, who's literally kicked in the stomach. Right, let's have a look at some of your comments before I give some of my sort of general thoughts. Peter Cole say a win is a win, but it was not very impressive. We move on. Yeah, and that's basically my sort of thought from this. So we had to go there, pick up the victory, get into the next round. It didn't really matter how we did it. And while I would love to have seen us be a bit more attacking, we have to accept that's kind of just not who we are. And I sort of thought, well, at least we were professional. And they didn't really look like scoring in the game for me. I didn't think Oxford were a threat really at all for us, and I think we managed the second half very professionally. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm waiting for you, Connor. Where are you? Well, there we are. I was here. I was maybe a minute late. I apologise. Luke. Undetected Snake said we played very badly given the chance we had. Like, seriously, got away with one. Talby on the right, I can't abide by it, and Talby looked decent for his run. I thought Talby, that is not Talby. Talby was poor in the first half. I didn't think he offered much. I thought he got better in the second half. He had that shot from range. There was a few better, sightings for him, and I thought his dribbling improved in the second half. But again, I feel like with Talby, I'm very up and down with him. Sometimes I think he's looking very good. Other times I don't. I don't think he's great on the right wing. And as you said, yeah, he's not great there. But this is the problem, comes back to Trey Hume, doesn't it? We talk about this all the time. Do we have an effective right winger? And maybe we do with Jocelyn Tarby. But from what we've seen this season, in terms of the players that have played a lot, yeah, we've struggled in that position, particularly with Bertrand Traore being injured. Disappointing performance, but we are through. Undetected St. Luke 9 being fouled for their striker being through. Don't see it, probably would have been 1-1. I thought that was a foul. I thought he was pulled his shirt. And I thought Langshed did that all game. I think you're always going to get that foul. So, yeah, I thought that was the correct decision. John Sweeney said Tabby looks a good one for the future. SJ 30,000 says that game just proves we need another striker. Yeah, if you're talking about upgrades, for the summer, if you're talking about upgrading the squad, I think that Brobby has proven himself to be adequate for what we need. I think he's good, but we definitely need to upgrade in that striker position in the summer, in my opinion. We definitely need to bring one in. Ryan Amer, end of the day we won and managed to rest some key players, proving it was the right decision. Fringe players perhaps didn't take their chance to prove they should be in the team. Yeah, and it's interesting. I've got that on my list of things, and the question that I sort of wrote there to ask is, did Mundell, 09, Talby, Isidore and Sergen do enough to put themselves in the team? And I think if you look at them individually, I thought Mundell, so hard to judge him because there were things that he did in the game that he was excellent with. His dribbling in the game was brilliant, but his decision making was so poor. Taking extra touches, shooting maybe when he shouldn't, crossing maybe when he shouldn't, and that is the frustration with him. I think he definitely needs a loan out. So I don't think he did enough to really put himself into the team long term and be a starting player. I thought 09 was solid, and I think 09 will be our cover centre back and cover defender if there's injuries back there. And I think he again was fine in this game, and actually I quite like the way that he dribbles out with the ball. He's very effective at that. He was good in the Everton FA Cup game as well, and I think 09 deserves plaudits. I thought he did make a good account of himself. Talby, we just touched on him. I didn't think Talby had the greatest of games. got better in the second half, and he had that shot from range, which was a brilliant save from the goalkeeper, which if it goes in, that's another wonderful goal for him. And I think what I like about Talby is that maybe more so than a lot of our other players, Talby has the ability to sort of score goals from range, and he'll take them sort of chances. And I think a lot of our other players, he's got the quality as well to execute them, as we saw against Burnley. So it is what I like about him, but he does frustrate sometimes, and sometimes some of his touches aren't great. Isidore, I don't think did enough. I thought he was, to be honest, I thought he was poor. I love Wilson Isidore. I'm a big fan of him, but he needs to show more when he gets these chances, and this was a big game for him, and I don't think he did enough. And Sirkin, who I'm a big advocate of, and I thought he was defensively quite weak today. He obviously won us the penalty, and I thought he was all right going forward, but defensively, I thought he really, really struggled. I think it was Stan Mills, is that the guy's name? The Oxford winger, I thought, had the beating of him a lot in the game. So, yeah, I don't know if he did enough. I don't think he's done enough to kick Ronaldo out of the team. So you look at those fringe players, I don't think a lot of them, other than maybe 09, I think 09 comes out with a lot of credit, but I think the others, didn't necessarily do enough to exert their claim for the team. But let me know what you think. Am I wrong on that? I mean, this is raw after a game, as it always is. We'll get a more measured approach when I talk to Taff tomorrow. Talby looks promising. I agree, mate. Isidore, my end, I could score against Oxford, so I don't see how they compete with Brobby. And I think, I've just touched on that there, but I think that I like my ender. He's not getting a ton of minutes. I think Isidore is struggling at the minute, and I think he is a big confidence player. I think long term next season, I think my ender you maybe send out on loan. I think there's a hell of a player there in Eliza Mayenda. I really, really like him. But yeah, right now, I think there is a gulf between Brian Brobby and our other strikers. I think it's hard to really argue against that. Alexander Lord, he says, Talby looked class, can't wait to see even more fixtures. Mundle was frustrating, too many times shooting when there were better options. I probably would agree with you there, mate, Alex. Lefay paying the full 90 while being carded and having to tweak with his elbow was confusing. Did he funny bone himself, didn't he? It looked like he funny boned himself. I thought Lefay was excellent today. I mean, I've talked about man of the match, and I'll ask for your verdict on man of the match, but I actually went with Lefay for mine. I thought he was buzzing all over the pitch. And, the amount of times he got us out of tricky spots, I thought Lefay was excellent today. Yeah, and, the commentators might have thought he should have been sent off, but I didn't. I thought Lefay was very good today. I don't know what other people think in terms of man of the match. I will check Roker Report's man of the match, actually. Let's see who they... We'll go through Roker Report's ratings. I always like to see what they say, because I think they got their ratings pretty bad on Wednesday night against Liverpool when I looked. So, right, let's look through Roker Report's ratings. I'll share my screen so you can see this as well. Give me a moment. Accidentally clicked that. Right, Roker Report's ratings. So, Robin Roof 7. I don't think you can argue with that. I thought you were pretty solid. Did everything he needed to do. Trey Hume 7. Yep, I don't have a problem with that. Nordy and 09 got 8 out of 10s. And I probably would agree with that as well. I thought Lancashire was a handful, to be fair. I thought he was Oxford's best player. But I think the both of them did actually manage it pretty well. I don't think he had much of a sniff in the game. Sirkin a 6, and I'd probably agree with that rating. I thought he really, really struggled defensively. Hertroider, I can see a few people weren't impressed with Hertroider in the comments. I thought he did okay today. I thought he did what he had to do, and he shielded the defence quite well. Lefay an 8 out of 10. Well, I give Lefay my man the match, so I probably would agree with Roker Report there. Chems and Talby a 7. Habib Diarra a 7. The commentators were very high on Habib Diarra. I thought he had a really poor first half. Up until probably when he scored, then he grew into the game a little bit. But yeah, the commentator was loving Habib Diarra. So maybe if you were there at the game, he looked better than what he'd done on the TV. Mundell 8 out of 10. I probably wouldn't have went that high. There were some elements of his play that were excellent. There were other elements that I thought underwhelmed. Wilson Isidore 5. Probably agree with that. Siddiqui a 7. I thought Siddiqui was brilliant when he came on. My ender is 6 and Torby with a 7. Yeah, probably don't disagree too much with their ratings overall. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the match ratings. Yeah, right. Let's get back to some of your comments. So, fell for Isidore, no service, but that's how he plays, so should be used to it. Don't think Isidore had a shot. I don't think he did either. Hertruda pretend to be the invisible man. We were rubbish first half as usual. I mean, we often are rubbish in the first half, to be fair. So, hard to disagree with that one. Don't remember Hertruda having the ball. If we're playing two, it should be Xhaka, Sadiki with Diarra as the attacking cam. And I think if everyone's fit, that is what it would be. I mean, we're not seeing the Xhaka, Sadiki, Diarra midfield trio, but I would guess that that's what we would go with. I mean, Hertruda, I think, is the Xhaka, should be the Xhaka replacement. He's kind of the, well, they keep saying he's the 12th man. He covers any position where anyone's injured in the sort of defensive line in midfield. I think that's what he's particularly good at. So, yeah. Tarby was good against Tired Leg. Oh, Tarby was against Tired Leg and needs a full game. Yeah, it is difficult to judge him, isn't it? You know, because he came on and he's against an Oxford team which were visibly quite tired towards the end of the game. Nigel Spatman was a commentator and he was so annoying. I don't know if he was the commentator I had, John. I'm not sure who it was. I know it was Aaron McLean, the former Hull City and Peterborough striker, and he was absolutely terrible. Would have liked to have seen Angulo given a game. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him brought on. I wonder if it's just a case of, you know, giving other people minutes. But I was really impressed with him against Liverpool. I thought he was one of our better players that day. Change in crisis. Not a vintage performance, but the win is all that matters. They didn't offer much. I agree with you there, mate. No doubt Hume will be on the wing instead of putting Tawi there and pushing Angulo over. I presume it's for the Fulham game next week. We'll get into that on the preview. But I hope that Hume won't be playing on right wing for that game. That would be ideal. My end, I should have started on the right, to be honest. Mundell left with Talby on at the half. Maybe. I had my ender in my start 11. Oxford fans were booing the ref while their players kicked lumped out of ours. Yes, mate. I touched on that at the start of the stream. The Oxford players were just trying their best to wind everyone up, wind up the referee, wind up our players. Yeah. Oxford fans had the nerves to cause. I know I didn't understand this. It was like 1-0 to the referee and all that stuff. And I was like, you'll get home and watch the game and be like, maybe that wasn't the case. Rank said the pitch was horrible. They tried to muck the matchup. It was only hard given conditions and an opponent that weren't trying to score. Yeah, I would agree with you there, mate. I thought that the pitch didn't help. It's just a bad afternoon. We had to go there and just make sure we won the game, and that's what we did. That's my main takeaway from it. I would love to have seen us, you know, really go there and put 2 or 3 in and get a bit of confidence. I don't think this is a confidence boosting win. I think that's the shame of it, and I think we've needed that as a fan base after, you know, a difficult sort of month of games where we've not been at our best. I think we really could have done with a good confidence boost in this game. We didn't get that. I think it was always going to be difficult because of the conditions and the way that Oxford were playing. And they were very, very defensive, playing a low block, as you would expect, to be fair. But yeah. Mundell played well, but no end product. Yep, I'd agree with you there. Change in crisis. Graham Brown says, summary TNT commentators were awful. Mundell found his level 09 man in the match. Alexander says, Mundell not fully fit, excuse gone. He's clearly fit going by this game, just not good enough. Summary, first half poor, second half was better. Nathan says, good professional performance, potential banana skin in tough conditions. Tarby looked very sharp when he came on. Another days could have scored a few. Can't see Isidore being here past the summer. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I think Isidore needs to prove something towards the end of the season. If we get an offer like 20 million plus like we did in January for him, it would be really hard to turn down. Now we know why there are rumours about the strikers leaving. Yeah, I mean, we just touched on it there in terms of Isidore. I think that he needs to show more when he's given the minutes, even though I love Wilson. I don't know why Angulo didn't get any minutes. I don't understand that either. I thought he would have been a shoot to get minutes. Okay, I think, did Mundell end up playing the full 90? I think he did, didn't he? Yeah. Strange. Ian says, easy afternoon really. Connor Johnson had a good cameo on Honour's goal. We'll be at full strength for the next round. I agree, mate. That's my main takeaway. When was the last time we got this far? God. Is it Bradford? Maybe? Where we got beat in like 2015? Has anybody answered that? Let me know. I mean, I would Google it, but it would probably be boring watching me Google it. When was the last time Sunderland got the FA Cup 5th round? And when is the FA Cup draw, for that matter? Actually, I will Google that. What time is the FA Cup 5th round? Oh, just locked my microphone there, guys. Apologies. What time is the FA Cup 5th round draw? Because I'm sure it's today. Right, we'll go on Manchester City's website. 18:35 on Monday. So we've got, what, a couple hours to wait for the FA Cup draw. Who do we want? Who do we want in the FA Cup? I haven't really thought about that. I don't know who's left in the FA Cup. Let's have a look. FA Cup. Let's see who's still in the FA Cup. I'll share my screen so we can all have a look. Right, FA Cup. So, who's in it? Chelsea are in it. We don't want Chelsea, do we? Definitely not. So, the draw is in... Oh, some people are saying the draw's tomorrow. Oh, hang on a minute. Cup. 5th round draw. From what I can see... Oh, yeah, it says it's on Monday. When I went on Man City's website before, it said it was on Sunday. Right, I'm on This Is Anfield now because that was the first one that came up. Oh, yeah, it says Monday. Oh, okay, so I was a day out. Oh, that's annoying. Anyway, right, I'm going to share the screen. Let's, who do we want? So we don't want Chelsea, I'm guessing. Wrexham. Would we want Wrexham at home, maybe? Yeah, I wouldn't want Wrexham away, if I'm being brutally honest. I don't think Wrexham away is a good tie for us, but Wrexham at home, I think, yeah. Phil Parkinson back. West Ham. I mean, they were really good when we played them the other week, but I don't know how important the FA Cup is to West Ham. They were really poor in the game yesterday. I watched it. So, West Ham at home, I wouldn't mind. Norwich at home. I would take Norwich at home. Southampton at home, I would take that. Mansfield at home or away. We should fancy ourselves to win that. I know they'll be up for it, but we should fancy ourselves. Man City, you don't want. Newcastle, do people want to play Newcastle? No, I don't want to play Newcastle. Definitely not. Liverpool, you don't want to play. Leeds, I don't think you want to play Leeds either. Wolves, yes, you would take Wolves, I think. Fulham, they beat Stoke 2-1. You'd probably take that. Arsenal, Wigan, we've got playing right now. Obviously, you don't want Arsenal. Macclesfield, Brentford. I don't think you want either of them, to be honest, whoever goes through. And Port Vale, Bristol City, I think you'd take either of them. You just want to avoid, like, away at Man City. Ugh. Yeah, and to be fair, somebody don't want Mansfield, they always beat us, yeah. It's like our kryptonite Mansfield Town. Christ. Yeah. Because we blew them 2 years in a row, didn't we, in the first round? Yeah, I don't want that. Right, let's have a look just to see where comments are right now. Is Xhaka a possibility next week? I thought it was another 3 weeks and another 3 weeks. I think that Xhaka should be back for the Fulham game. That was my understanding, was you got out the FA Cup game out the way and Xhaka should be back. So I think Xhaka's back next week. That's my guess. I hope. Fingers crossed. Wilson was a strange one to start. Was never going to get space in behind a team like Oxford. Yeah, but the thing is, Neil Wilson's going to have to show more to his game, doesn't he, if he wants to play. Isidor's forward support wasn't there today. Totally bereft of confidence and not getting the support on the pitch needed. He was poor, but he needs support out on the pitch. I'd probably agree with that. But again, you have to show more than just being running in behind. He's got enough about him in terms of strength and height to put himself about. I mean, Mayenda was running the channels better than what Isidore was. I want to see that more from him. Why did that Oxford player even challenge Sergen? He was going nowhere. Yeah, and changing crisis. I'll tell you the reason why that happened is because the Oxford players are very good at football. The commentator bias was amazing today. The amount of times they spent reviewing the fair tackle was ridiculous. I agree, mate. The commentators were absolutely honking, in my view. Oh, undetected snake wants the derby in the next round. I don't know if I can cope with having 3 derbies in a season. Ryan says, yeah, I reckon Isidore will be off in the summer. Probably is key the best we have, and Mayenda has the most potential. Can't see Isidore staying as second to third choice. I would agree with that, Ryan. Peter says, the problem is many players ego makes them think the FA Cup early rounds are beneath them. Isidore has gone, never contributes at all. Get rid. Nathan says, think Angulo not playing definitely means to be starting next weekend. We'll see. Right, and then this is people talking about the draw. So, changing crisis wants the Mags. Wolves or Wrexham. Last 5th round was 14-15 against Bradford. There we go. Anyone outside the big 6? I'd take Norwich at home out of home. That's interesting. Norwich is your favourite fixture. Anybody at home or the visitors away? You want to go to St James's Park? No. Well, that means we'd have to play Newcastle probably twice within like a week. That should be absolutely, I mean, good for my channel, I suppose, but absolutely awful in terms of my mental health and physical health. Don't want Mansfield. They always beat us. We'll get Mansfield. Leeds were terrible today. To be honest, mate, didn't watch the Leeds. I saw the first half. It was a terrible game. Actually, I think I saw it about the 80th minute. I saw Pirate Roberts goal, actually. So I'm telling a lie. I did watch the other game. It was a terrible game, though, wasn't it? Really, really bad. Xhaka was another 3 weeks. Ugh. No thanks. Missed the second half. How did Jocelyn do? He was very, very good, mate. Jocelyn was very, very good. Big fan. And an interesting one here. And I think me and Taff will talk about this because I think it's worth talking about. What do we think will happen with the home attendance? Because our FA Cup and Cup attendances generally have never been that great. Though I will say, when we played Fulham in like 22, 23, I think we had about 30,000 people there, which was quite high for us for like an FA Cup third round replay. I think it was the third round, maybe the fourth round, third or fourth round. So from that, I think that's the last time we played a meaningful FA Cup game at home. I know we played Stoke last season, but to be honest, we've not had a ton of home draws. I would like to think that if we drew, in fact, I'd like to think if we were playing anyone at home in the fifth round of the FA Cup, I think that the ground should be near enough sold out. I would like to think. I don't know why it necessarily wouldn't be. I think there's a lot of clamour for tickets all the time. So I feel like it would make sense, in my opinion. Interesting. Yeah, Ryan, I'd probably agree with that. I think our cup attendance will be good now because it's a genuine opportunity to go far. Yeah, and that's kind of my view in it. Depends on the opponent. A lot of times it's meaningless rotated sides. And I think that's a lot of fans. And also what happens sometimes with me is that I often go away for like the first midweek of the season, which is often the League Cup game. Often I miss that just because I've like looked at the schedule and so we don't have a game. It's happened with the FA Cup as well. I think I'm away for when the quarterfinal would be. I think I'm away that weekend. So yeah. Yeah, good for people who can't get tickets. I agree. Semi-final at Wembley is terrible. It absolutely is, mate, Paul. Paul, this is... I feel this. Absolutely. I hate that. Right, let's... I've got a few other points to talk about, which I haven't touched on yet because I was reading your comments. So if there's any more comments, get them in there. Whatever you want to talk about, we can go for another 15 minutes at most. And then I'll have a dog to walk. So, but I thought... Overall, my overarching feeling from this game is that Sunderland were pretty professional, largely dominant in terms of control of the game, but lacked a cutting edge, which I think is probably just Sunderland generally. I think this is what we have become, particularly over the last few months since before AFCON, really. I think we've often just struggled to turn possession and kind of territorial dominance into anything meaningful. And I thought it was kind of the same today. We were better in the second half when Oxford got tired. But I just would like to see us be a little bit more forward thinking and getting more players in the box. And sometimes our play in the final third is underwhelming. And we overplay, we shoot when we should pass, we pass when we should shoot. And that's something that we really need to work on. And I feel like we're lacking that sharpness right now in the final third. But you know, we had 17 shots, we had 9 on target, we had quite a few big chances, we had quite a few nearly moments. I certainly think that we were, if anyone was going to score another goal in the game, it was probably going to be us. And yeah, that's fine. Oxford created nothing of meaning in the game. And I just thought, even if Oxford had scored, I think we had another gear to go up. And I think that was it. We were trying to manage through the game. You've got to remember as well, we've just played Arsenal and Liverpool back-to-back. 2 of the hardest games you can play. We've played them back-to-back, and we've come through that period, you know, with 2 defeats. We're feeling a little bit sorry for ourselves, and we're a little bit tired, and we've come through today, and we've just done what needed done. That's my main takeaway. Talk about the man of the match, give it Lafay. I think 09 got the TNT man of the match, which I wouldn't really disagree with. I thought 09 was pretty solid as well. I thought Roofs was brilliant today. Just did everything he needed to do. Came for crosses, physical, dominant, just never looked troubled. And yeah, I thought that Roofs had a really, really solid game. So they're kind of my main takeaways from it. I don't think there's necessarily a ton to hyper-analyse from it. I thought we did what we had to do. We come away with the win. And that's all that really matters. So where else are we on here? G Hunty says we are awful to watch this season. I think we've... Awful's a strong word. I don't think we're awful to watch. I think at times we are awful to watch. I think over the last... Since December, I would say. Probably since we beat Newcastle, to be honest. I think the football has become a little bit more turgid and a little bit... I don't know, save the word. I just think awful is a... I don't think we've been awful to watch. I quite enjoy, but I also enjoy sort of the defensive and aggressive side of the game. I quite like watching teams that are good defensively. That's kind of just who I am as a football fan. I can see this is getting themselves a nice debate. Yeah, I mean, I would say that I enjoyed watching the first half of the season very much. I thought up to, as I said, the Newcastle game, I thought we were really good to watch. I certainly enjoy the home games. And look, our home form and the home games themselves have been really, really good. And I would say that Sunderland is two different things right now. We've got Sunderland at home, which I think is good. I like watching Sunderland at home. I think they're excellent. They're committed. They're hard-hitting. They're aggressive. They're a pain in the arse to play against. Sunderland away is a completely different matter. Sunderland away is... It's turgid. It's not fun to watch. I don't think it's great. Sunderland away. And that's what needs to improve. I think the home form is good. And I enjoy watching Sunderland at home. I think that we are what I want to see from a Sunderland home team. Awful to watch and nearly save or good to watch, but in the bottom half. Well, we are actually in the bottom half right now, to be fair. But yeah, I don't think awful. I don't know if that's a fair word. Right, where are we in here? 3-0 Sunderland at the same like Reggie does the knee slide. I presume that's if we play Newcastle in the next round. And yeah, I think that just about covers off. So thanks everyone for watching. I enjoy doing these live streams, and with the channel the way it is now and the new setup, we'll be doing more live streams like this and more content will be coming out. It's easier for me to do in the setup. Hopefully it looks better as well, which is the dream. The room is going to change a little bit. There are going to be some additions to the room as things go on. Maybe things go on the wall, stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for the support, because we'll be able to do this without people watching the channel. So, all the advertising money that we've got has went in to investing in the room so that we can make more stuff. So I really appreciate that. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Please leave a like. Please subscribe if you have not already. If you want more Sunderland content, I'll be back with TAF. I think we're recording tomorrow, so we'll be talking probably after the FA Cup draw, so we'll talk about that as well, and whether or not we're happy or unhappy with the draw. So watch out for all that on the channels. Me and James will be on Wednesday, so we'll have our show where we need to come up with a name. So if you've got any name suggestions, let us know. Yeah, name suggestions for that. I think we had Orca's Left Boot was the one. Orca's Left Foot was the one that I came up with. We had a few other ones though that people have put in. So yeah, let us know any name suggestions and we'll go through them and pick one. And yeah, then we'll be back previewing Fulham and all that good stuff. And I've also got another channel, Beyond the Big Six. If you want other content around the football and Premier League, check that out as well. Really appreciate that. And yeah, we'll see you soon. I can see some nice comments in here from Abbott's Adventures. Thank you, my friend. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.